Hi, the Northern Edition. Good evening. I'm Sabrina Brown. Welcome to our post-hurricane coverage. Thank you for joining us. Topping the news tonight, the Grand Bahama Port Authority has its fair share of work to ensure that Grand Bahama returns to its natural state after the passing of Hurricane Matthew. Tonight, the port's president shares what their focus has been over the past several days and what it will be in the weeks to come. Shashina Roll reports.
President of the Grand Bahama Port Authority, Ian Roll, giving an outline on some of the efforts being made to restore the city of Freeport to some state of normalcy. Roll says during these challenging times, the port's focus has been on food, water, fuel, sanitation services, and the island's tourism product.
The foods category, we are getting a listing, or we have a listing of all of the restaurants that service the masses. We had an incident on Sunday where we had to find a portable water truck to supply water to a number of the restaurants that service the people, else we would have had a catastrophe on our hands. So we have a portable water truck making frequent rounds to various restaurants to ensure that they have water and for the places to be in a sanitary format, and also use the water to cook.
The port president says during this crisis, they have also been working closely with the diesel companies.
Into the occasion, we have them on a routine as well, servicing the main food sources and also critical business areas in Freeport. Fuel situation, we have one or two fuel companies here that go around pumping fuels into individual and businesses generators, and they are very stretched. So we are facilitating more fueling trucks to come on the island at the moment.
He commended sanitation services for the outstanding work that they have done to ensure that the island was cleaned up efficiently after the passing of Hurricane Matthew. Roll says they have also been working closely with those in the tourism industry.
In 3 days, they would have cleared all of the major arterial roads in Freeport, and I have them now focusing on one or two touristic areas because we want to get the tourists back into Freeport within the next 2 weeks. So we have identified, there was a meeting yesterday with the Grand Bahama Tourism Board and a number of the hoteliers, and what we did, we found out which attractions or hotels had limited damage, and we want to focus on bringing them up first. And the idea is to get persons here in the next 2 weeks.
And as for the industrial sector, he says that there has been some companies like the Freeport Container Port that has been affected by this hurricane.
A number of them still have challenges, like the container port. I wouldn't speak to them, I'll just mention that the container port has significant damage. The harbor is open. Pharmachem is in need of water. So I had a meeting with Randy Thompson today, and if power is not, if there's no power generation to these particular areas, then to get water, we might just have to dig wells and put filters on the water for these people to operate and get people back to work.
Shashina Roll, ZNS Network News.
Grand Bahamas hotel product taking a beating from Hurricane Matthew. As a result, several hotel properties are currently out of commission. Italia Hall fills us in.
Based on initial damage assessments, Viva Wyndham Fortuna expects to open on November 14th. Castaways remains open with water, Wi-Fi, and limited electricity. However, the resort did incur roof damage, resulting in 32 rooms being out of order. Pelican Bay sustained minor roof damage to its conference center, which is currently being repaired. The property is taking corporate business and restoration teams only and is not open to leisure guests. Its restaurant, Sabor, is also open. Work on Memories Resort is expected to begin soon, and the company said in a statement released on Tuesday that it is expected to open on December 10th. Until then, the 500 staff members will undergo extensive customer service retraining ahead of its proposed opening date. The Grand Lucayan Resort, which includes the Lighthouse Point and Breakers Key, incurred water and roof damage. Lighthouse Point is expected to open on November 7th. Flamingo Bay Resort had minor damage and is awaiting the restoration of power before opening. Taino Beach Resort received extensive damage, and officials gave no time frame for opening. The old Bahama Bay Resort sustained minimal damage and will open once power and water have been restored. A team of workers are currently assessing the damage to the Ocean Reef Resort, and no opening date has been given at this point. Travelers are encouraged to reach out to hotels for regular updates on proposed opening dates. The Treasure Bay Casino is reporting minor damage to its interior, although it suffered major roof damage. The property is proposing to open on October 31st. Cleanup of Port Lucaya Marketplace is currently underway. Businesses in the island's tourism hub are hoping to reopen soon. UNEXO, the local scuba diving and dolphin tour company, sustained no damage and is open for business. Garden of the Groves had extensive damage to the landscape, but restoration efforts are underway. Grand Bahama Nature Tours reported that they were able to secure all of its equipment and will be able to run jeep, bike, ATV, kayak tours as soon as all routes are assessed and are cleared for safety. Tours are expected to recommence on October 31st. Bahamas Paradise Cruise Line is still bringing passengers to Freeport, and the company is looking to aggressively promote two-night Bahamas cruises in hopes of encouraging travel to the island. As it relates to the major cruise lines, Carnival Cruise Line say they are reviewing upcoming itineraries to make adjustments. Reporting for ZNS Network News, I'm Natalia Hall.
Hurricane Matthew wreaking havoc on sporting organizations on Grand Bahama as well. Ricardo Liborn has an update on the damage to those facilities.
The Marriott Baseball Stadium took it on the chin as Hurricane Matthew simply gave them a push. The bleachers and fencing damaged and will need much repairs. Down power poles and lines litter the ballpark. Lots of work to get AmeriCaribbean Baseball Stadium back up in time for the season. The softball facility at the Grand Bahama Sports Complex took a hit, but no severe damage. Some damage to those dugouts, the home one. The field is intact and they can play during daylight. The Freeport Rugby Club suffered severe damage to its roof. The tarp to protect the interior will be ready in time for the fall season. Over the YMCA, the story a bit different with down power lines. Lights that illuminated the field are now on the field. Pool covers simply blown away and will have to be dismantled. Also, the algae buildup in the pool, that's another concern. The tennis court's fencing is evident of the damage. The Freeport Rugby Club roof is in the YMCA. Well, Executive Director of the Y, Karen Pinder Johnson, says the damage is kind of mind-boggling.
The building of the facility is in good shape. We have no leaks in terms of what may have happened as a result of Hurricane Matthews, but we have suffered tremendously with the perimeter of the YMCA. The tennis courts fencing is all down. All the dugouts around the fields are all gone. The sitting area for the fans are all gone. In addition to that, at the pool side, we have the shed that's over. The pool has to be cleaned. We have a lot of stuff that flew into the pool. But outside of that, we are very, very thankful that we still have a building standing.
Taking the damage to the outside facility, the baseball dugouts, also the soccer field and lights that came down. The YMCA is in dire need of a generator to save the pool and its operations. The YMCA can be up and running, but the aid of the community.
We need to get our YMCA up and running is because there is absolutely nothing to do on the island of Grand Bahama. And after a devastating situation like it's been thus far, I think we have to provide some normalcy and a social outlet for the community of Grand Bahama. And I think the YMCA has provided that service for a number of years. And I think we need to get that back up and running. We need to get the YMCA back where kids can have some normalcy, young people can have some normalcy in their day-to-day living.
The weight room came through Hurricane Matthew without a bar being missing. The cleanup is set for Saturday 10 a.m. at the YMCA, and you're all needed. Ricardo Lightborn, ZS Network News.
Thanks, Rick. The leader of the Free National Movement on Grand Bahama yesterday for a tour of hurricane-ravaged areas. The delegation began the assessment tour in the Southern District and wrapped up in West End. Megan Shepard went along.
Leader of the opposition Free National Movement, Dr. Hubert Minnis, leading a delegation to make assessments of the level of damage sustained on Grand Bahama. Dr. Minnis visited various constituencies, met with residents, and heard their concerns following the passage of Hurricane Matthew. Dr. Minnis also noting that the spirits of Grand Bahamians remain high despite the devastation he describes as unbelievable. He assured residents that he has heard their concerns and that help is on the way.
Many people have lost their homes, their roofs, but we're grateful that nobody has lost their life. What is amazing, when you talk to the residents, they're very happy and grateful that they have not been injured, no life has been lost, and they're also happy that to see members of their political party, although the Prime Minister may think different, but I'm still the leader of the FNM. And they're happy to see that their leader has come by to look and assess.
Deputy Leader and Member of Parliament for East Grand Bahama, Peter Turnquest, distributed water to residents in the various constituencies. He said as Grand Bahama works to rebuild, residents must remain hopeful, especially when it comes to loss of jobs.
Fortunately, no lives lost. The infrastructure, the roads and the seawalls have been heavily damaged, and so that's going to take quite a bit of a restoration effort there. As you come further west in the constituency, it's a lot of roof damage, roof tiles, and some areas have had their roofs actually blown off. And so we are certainly looking forward to relief in terms of building supplies in order to help these people get back on their feet. There's been a lot of damage. People have lost quite a bit. We are very concerned and cognizant of the economic drivers in Grand Bahama, which have suffered tremendous damage, and what that will mean towards employment.
Ratified candidate for Mount Moriah and former Deputy Commissioner of Police Marvin Dames, emphasizing the need for immediate help for all residents, despite their political persuasion.
This is not time for politics. We must understand that we are in a crisis. We have a government whose responsibility it is to deal with the situation at hand. Not in the long term. There are long-term solutions, of course, and we all agree with that. And our leader has indicated that we intend to work hand in hand with the government to see this out.
But Dr. Minnis is also calling for improved building codes throughout the Bahamas. Megan Shepard, ZNS Network News.
As leader of the Free National Movement, Dr. Hubert Minnis traveled throughout the communities. Residents were able to share their Hurricane Matthew experiences. They say they are grateful that he and his team took the time to listen to their concerns and offer assistance.
It was really, really rough, especially having to deal with my grandmother who got her foot amputated, say about 3 weeks before the hurricane came. She called me and said that something is knocking at her window. So I said to her, I can't go on the outside because the hurricane is out there. She said, something is knocking at my window. So I went inside anyhow to her needs, and I noticed that her roof was coming. I said, your roof is coming now. She said, no, I see your roof coming now. She said, no. And, old people sub inside to grab her real quick and just threw it in the wheelchair and get it out. And by the time I get up between the hallway, everything just collapsed. It collapsed, but Dr. Ministers were here. They came to the rescue. They said they're going to bring some food and some stuff that we need right now, like some water and supplies, especially candles, because I heard there's no candles in Freeport, and I've been looking, so thanks to them.
Oh, Dr. Minister and his team were marvelous. I spoke to them, Marco Pine, and so forth, and they were asking if second team or like NEMA or whoever, had came by, and Urban Renewal did show up. This is what I met. Then inside the living room was cooled, and there you had the bathroom. The bathroom ceiling had fallen in. My mother's room, her ceiling had fallen in, and as you can see right here, that's the kitchen area. That's also the roof has been torn off. And there were a lot of cleaning up to do, so a group of us got together and we did as much as we possibly can, but there's still a little debris knocking about the place.
Little Philia Paul says she was very afraid during the hurricane and is disappointed that her school, Mary Star of the Sea, was damaged and delayed the reopening of school. She shares why she was most afraid for her fellow neighbors.
Because some of the people's roof might be gone, and I don't like that.
Tell me, how did you feel during the hurricane? Tell me what you was afraid of.
I'm scared of this house roof to go on.
How is your house now?
Good.
Stay with us. There's more news after this.